So then what you're telling me is that BSV is what you'd originally envisioned.
Yes.
Okay.
So the
why
whole
is
concept
it better than
it
what
works.
they have achieved? It works. Okay.
So decentralized, the whole concept is completely wrong, and it's just a word that people throw out there. As a distributed network, if you go back and you read textbooks from 2008, you'll have a different description of what peer-to-peer means. Peer-to-peer doesn't mean I send to a group of nodes, and those nodes eventually get it to the other person. That's actually considered a mesh network. So they're actually destroying the terms and just lying their little hearts out. So you go back to a 2008 textbook on peer-to-peer, and it is a direct communication. So Alice and Bob directly communicate. No server, no mesh. Now, the way Bitcoin was originally envisioned, how I said it, and if you look at my original website, you'll see this. Alice sends a transaction to Bob. Bob sends to the network to be settled.
Okay.
So that's a lot faster and also allows for much richer information exchange. So Alice then will also get a new key every time. There's no reuse of addresses, which is the privacy issue. Because if I connect to you, say, and then you say, this is the key to use for this transaction, or the group of keys, because I can maybe break it into 10 different ones if I want to have smaller transactions. I then pay you to that. And at the same time, I can take a hash of an invoice and I can give you the PDF maybe of an invoice separately, but provably show that this invoice has been created at that time by putting that information in one of the transactions. Now, the so-called malleability issues go away because the people who malleate a transaction would be me trying to do something strange. But if you're sending it to the blockchain, you're not going to destroy your own transaction or hide it. But if you wanted to, you would know what it's malleated to anyway. So think about it. It's a really simple, easy to use methodology. I connect to you, you connect to the blockchain. The argument was, oh, but that destroys privacy. But that's a load of crap. I mean, the reality here is if I'm communicating with you to buy goods and services, and say you're going to send me a television that I just brought, we're going to exchange information for warranties. You're going to want to know the address. I mean, you're not going to have third bench on the right in Central Park near the big rock to the left of the baseball field. I mean, hi, I'm randomly delivering a TV. Are you... I mean, think about it. In the real world, but publicly then, because there's a new key, it's sort of generated every time. There's no information out there about who you are. So it is completely pseudonymous and private. The blockchain doesn't record this information, but you and I have it. And the parties to a transaction are the ones that should. I want the invoice for the thing I've just bought. I want the record. I want to know that my goods and services will be delivered and work, and I want to be able to take action if they don't.
So the transaction will be settled and the information will be exchanged between the two people. The transaction settled by the person receiving the money.
Yes.
So that they have obviously every incentive with which to get.
And if they don't send it back, then there's a problem. But people go, oh, but what if you're not online? Well, I could email you a transaction. I mean, I don't need to use the blockchain and send it to a node. Yeah. People go, oh, but it's so hard to scan the node when transaction sizes and blocks are big. But I don't need to do that. If I'm sending you the transaction, you don't need to scan the blockchain. You just send it there. You check that there's no double spends, that it's still valid. If it gets accepted by a node, it's valid. Everyone's happy.
So then just trying to get my head around this to make sure I totally understand what you're saying with this. So would each individual wallet or individual, would they technically, in a sense at least, be the node to which you're sending it to? Like each individual?
No, they're not a node. Island. They're an SPV node.
They're an SPV node.
So SPV only requires the hash header, which is the 80 byte every 10 minutes. So that'll run on very small devices. Now, with that, I can simplify the process by keeping the input transaction. So the transaction that came to me, I keep, and I send that in its position, like Merkle proof, with my new transaction to you. Now, you can validate that, one, the transaction for the input is valid, two, that the other transaction is valid. You can see where they are by not even going to the blockchain, but just doing a Merkle proof and checking that they are actually real. And then if they're accepted by a node, they haven't been double spent. So that's really as simple as it needs to be.
Okay. No, it's definitely, yeah. I'm going to have to take some more time to look a lot deeper into this because, yeah, I'm still. So I'm trying to come at this in a lot of the interviews that I've been doing on in the crypto space. Obviously, like the Bitcoiners or the
Well, you mean
BTCers.
you've got to remember that MasterCard and others heavily fund digital currency group.
Yes.
Now they can sit there going, "Oh, we're not influenced at all." You mean if you get another $70 million for Lightning Labs, that you're not influenced by that $70 million? Of
course not.
I mean, if your paycheck is by MasterCard, you're going to go, "Oh, we hate MasterCard."
Yeah, and MasterCard are increasingly becoming the one essentially. Like, I mean, I watch every single time I see any news on crypto and any news about MasterCard. It's like, oh, they've replaced Visa in this card, or they've replaced Visa here and here and here, and it's weird to watch it happening because everyone's like, oh, aren't they just the same thing? But yeah, two very different companies.
Yep.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us in the comments below. Let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more of this from the show. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.